joining us, Dr. Willens. What do you think are the key lessons from the pandemic for wealth management firms?
So, wealth management firms, like so many industries, rely on relationships between people and mitigating risk. So, I think the key insight from the COVID-19 pandemic is that we need to manage uncertainty and form and establish and maintain social relationships, regardless of what's going on in the social environment.
And the Capgemini World Wealth Report describes behavioral finance as a tool that can help firms study the impact of emotion on their clients' investment behavior. Can you give us an example of how that works?
Yeah, so behavioral economics has a lot to say about how people think about making decisions about important resources like time and money. And so, as we're thinking about using behavioral insights, we want to be thinking about the fact that people don't always make rational decisions. Despite how much money people have in the bank, they might be thinking, especially during a period of uncertainty, about how to maximize short-term gains, how to maximize short-term gains as opposed to long-term benefits. So, we really want to be helping people feel a sense of psychological safety and trust so that they can make the best decision for themselves, not just in the short run, but also in the long run.
Wealth management firms are looking for ways to get closer to their clients. How can behavioral economics help with that?
Behavioral economics suggests that, once again, we often underestimate the power of small social interactions. We don't always know what's good for us, if you will. So one thing that we've observed during the COVID-19 pandemic in these remote environment that we've been working in is that small social interactions often go missing. These can be the source of so much important connection and trust building time, but also a source of innovation. So as we move out of the pandemic and into our new normal, we need to keep small social interactions in mind, not necessarily 3-hour Zoom meetings, but rather those short check-ins that often go missing in a virtual environment.
Do you think wealth management clients should be concerned about privacy given everything that's going on with technology in the world right now?
This is a really interesting question. So you might wonder, should we be transparent about the extent to which we're using information from clients to help optimize their experience? Research from behavioral economics and behavioral science suggests, yes, we should actually be transparent about how we're using people's data so long as it's improving the user experience. When we're transparent, we explain and communicate the why behind our decisions, this can actually facilitate consumer trust, not undermine it.
And looking around the globe, which geography would you say is more advanced in terms of using behavioral finance and behavioral economics?
There's no question that the United States is a front runner in this area. There are more economists in top finance and firms and in top technology companies than in the top universities in the United States. So there's definitely proliferation of economics and behavioral science in the United States. But there's also been a trend in emerging markets. We see that emerging markets, there's the potential for increased scale and decreased bureaucracy. So I do think that countries like the United States and North American markets have a lot to learn from innovation that's happening elsewhere in the world.
Dr. Willens, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.